Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you the exciting new changes that are available in the latest version of Shortcuts. That's Shortcuts 8.1. So Shortcuts has been updated with a modern look and feel, which is available in a light theme and a dark theme. So, oops, pause. Shortcuts has been updated with a modern look and feel, which is available in what's called a light theme and a dark theme. So you'll be able to choose whichever theme takes your preference, but today I'll be using the dark theme. As I walk through these latest updates, in addition to the new look and feel, we have improved the usability of several key areas throughout Shortcuts to increase efficiency and create a more intuitive experience. So my name is Noah, and usually I present the Tuesday classroom sessions in North America, so I'm going to give you a walkthrough of what's new in version 8.1. So we are going to begin our tour with the point of sale. So you'll notice that there's a few buttons and elements that have been moved to a more logical place on the screen. In the top left, we have a new sale button. So you'll see it on the top left. It's this turquoise color button with a plus sign on it. This was previously known as the client's button. So the client profile and client history buttons have also been moved up to the top. If you remember previously, they were on the bottom right-hand corner. So we try to keep all of the information and all of the options related specifically to the selected client, so they're all grouped together near the client's name. Here, you can also see the alert message and the client's account balance if they have any money in their account. We now have a plus icon here, which lets you add an item into the sale. This is particularly helpful when you have a lot of items on the sale. And all of the sale lines are filled up, so you don't have to scroll down and find a new line to click on. So previously on this screen, if you remember, in order to add a new line item, you would have to click and drag with your mouse. Now you actually have a plus button, this white plus button, almost in the center of the screen. So the plus and minus buttons. So let's say I was to create a new sale, and I can just go to an existing customer, or I can search for a customer. We will talk about existing customers in a moment, but I'll choose somebody that's available here. So I'll press the plus button, and I can choose, is this a service that's being performed by a staff member? I can say yes, haircut, for example, cuts, men's cuts. So there's plus and minus buttons in the middle column where it says quantity. So if I want to get rid of this haircut, I can press the minus button. If this was a product and the customer was buying multiple products, I can press the plus button and just update how many the customer wanted to buy. So I can quickly remove an item by clicking on the trash can item on the right side. So there's a little icon. It looks like a trash can. It's on the right side. So I can eliminate that entire line by pressing that button. So that goes for services, sundry, products. Payment types have been moved over to the right side. So on the bottom right, you'll see card, cash, gift/loyalty, and other payment types. So previously, the payment types was on the left side. So they're on the right side now. Now, all of the credit and debit cards have been combined into one button. It's just card. So you don't have to worry about, I'll pause where I'm at. Hold on. So as I was saying a moment ago, all credit and debit card buttons have been combined into just one button called card. Gift card, loyalty cards have also been combined under gift/loyalty. Any other active payment types will appear by pressing the other button. And you'll see a list of specific alternate payment types to select from. So you'll also notice on this window, the point of sale window, that the important action buttons like finish sale are now colored. They're colored turquoise so that they help draw attention to the primary action on each screen. So that finish sale button is drawing your attention to the bottom right corner. So this is your end sale button now. And you'll see turquoise colored buttons on other screens and shortcuts so that it reminds the operator, it reminds the staff member, the employee, what are the steps they have to do to finish this screen. Okay, so now that you see the changes we've made to the point of sale screen, we're going to go to the client search screen. So on the right side, we're going to the clients button. So you can see all of the menu buttons on the right side have been updated as well. So once we're here, one of the first things you're actually going to notice is that you no longer see a list of customers by default. So usually on the left side of the screen, you have a list of all of the names alphabetically of the clients that you had. Instead, it's usually blank by default, unless in this case I was searching for a customer recently, my SSC test client, that's why they're there. So at the top left, you actually get to search in any number of methods. So one of the reasons we of course hid all of the customer names is for privacy reasons. So it's very important to protect customer privacy. But at the top left, immediately you can search by name, first and last, or last and first, phone number, or email. So you don't have to select from a pull-down menu which is the preferred method of searching. All you have to do is start typing, and then shortcuts will narrow down the results. So in that case, it was just a phone number. So right away, I can start searching based on phone number or by the name of the customer. So search results only appear in the list after you start typing and searching for a client. Now, based on whether you generally prefer to search by first and then last, or last and then first, you can also go to the filter. So if you notice immediately to the right where I start typing the name, there is a filter button. And I can tell shortcuts which do I prefer, first name then last name, or last name then first. Also, do I want to search through my list of inactive customers? So those features are still here. They are in the filter button. So whatever is set here will be the order you need to type for the names in order to search for a client. And again, you can also search via phone number or email. So this will also affect how the names show up on the list once you find them. So in this case, last name first. You can also, if you have a barcode system set up for customers or for products, you can also search by entering a barcode here. On the right, at the very top, there is a new client button. So if you have to add a new customer, it's prominent. And like I said previously, it's colored in turquoise so that it draws your eye to this button. This is special. This is how we add new customers. So most of you are familiar with what the new client screen looks like. So a lot of the functionality remains. We still have a done button, a cancel button, and of course, the ability to switch between quick, detailed, and all. Now, if you remember, there should be a schedule a task button, and that used to be on the list of customers. Instead, it's at the top of the screen. If you look at the top center, just to the right of the center, there's schedule a task and even schedule a class if you teach any classes in your salon or your spa. So schedule a task is also available right from here. So the layout of the client dashboard has also been improved to make it a little more intuitive. So options that relate specifically to a selected client are now located at the top of the dashboard. So in my test, I'm going to choose Allie here. So the dashboard, where it shows customers' information, history, things like that, it's now been slightly arranged. So things like client profile, client history, client profile card, CPC, those are all available right on the top center underneath the customer's name. So if I need access to anything, or I need the ability to bring up that information, I just press those buttons. Important information about the selected customer that used to clutter the client list is now going to appear as an icon on the top right of the dashboard. So you're going to begin to see these little icons that appear, like customer's information, history, things like that. Now, if you're a multi-site location, so you have multiple salons, multiple spas, there we go, you'll actually be able to do a global client search. So previously, at the top of the screen, you used to have to press the global button and then tell Shortcuts, I'm searching for a certain customer at one of my other locations. So this by default is built into the search screen. So if Allie happened to visit one of my other salons and I typed in her information, I now have a sort of universal where it's searching globally by default. So it is searching across locations. And any customers who have visited other locations are seen directly in the search results via phone or email or name when I search for them. Now at the bottom, if I wanted specifically to search other locations, at the bottom of the screen, if I start typing a name or a number, there we go. There is a search other locations button at the bottom of the screen. It's not enabled here on my test machine because I don't have multiple locations to search through. But at the bottom of the screen, there is an option to specifically search other locations. Now, global clients are actually identified by an icon appearing on the top right of the dashboard. So it would actually appear, if I found a customer that had a global, on the right side, there would actually appear a little globe icon just to let you know that this is a customer that shows up at another location. Now, if you click on a global client in the list of customers to see their basic details in the dashboard, including where was the last location they visited, when was this visit. Another enhancement for multi-site businesses is some improved functionality around preventing duplicate client records. So I know this was something we used to get questions on in Shortcuts for merging clients or dealing with duplicates. So we're helping the sites now sort of filter out that information and try to prevent duplicates. So whenever you're searching or entering new client information, Shortcuts is actually going to check across all locations to determine if that same client has already visited another location. And if they have, you'll be prompted to resolve the duplicates. So this is going to help you, it's going to help your front desk keep your database clean and ensure that clients who visit multiple locations have a great experience no matter which site they go to. So this is going to come in very handy. So let's see what's changed in the appointment book. So on the right side, we're going to the top of the list, appointments. So the appointment book seems to be a little cleaner, a little easier to read. Most of you are familiar with this window. At the top, we have the names of the customers. In the center of the screen, we have our current appointments. On the left side, the hours of the day. On the bottom, our virtual, how do we turn our pages on our appointment book? And on the top left, whatever the current calendar day is, or the day that we're looking at on our books. So most of you are familiar with this screen. So what's changed? Now, you're going to notice that the appointment book, or if you're using the Walkin Manager, is that walk-in visits now display in the appointment book. Previously, an appointment would appear in the Walkin Manager screen, but not vice versa. So somebody that was using the Walkin Manager dropped in an appointment, dropped in a visit, that visit would not show up on the appointment book. Now they do. So this gives you a more comprehensive and efficient view of all of your upcoming clients for the day. So the sites, the salons, the spas that we work with that have a sort of mixed business model in which some of their appointments are in the appointment book, They deal with a lot of walk-in customers, so they also use the Walkin Manager. It's much more functional for those hybrid model businesses because you're easier to track all of those customers. Also, appointments will no longer skip ahead of walk-in clients since those walk-in visits will be blocked out in the appointment book. So this is definitely going to help with the flow of traffic. So you're also going to find some new changes at the top of the appointment book where your employee photos are displayed. So at the very top of the screen, all the employee functions that were previously available by left-clicking, right-clicking, or double-clicking on the employee photos have been combined into a single employee quick profile. So at the top of the screen, on Phil, for example, in Shortcuts version 7, Shortcuts Fusion, if I double-clicked on Phil's name, I could print up his appointments, for example. Or if I clicked one time, a left click, I would be able to see what level or what capabilities he had. And if I right-clicked on Phil's name, I could look at his week and see if he has any other appointments for the entire week. Instead, if I click one time on Phil, I now get to see all of that information and much more. So one of the things that you're going to see now, if you're clocking in, clocking off, so if you're using your clock on, clock off feature to track employees' hours, you now have clear visibility of each employee's current availability in both the appointment book and the walk-in manager, depending on the color of the status dot besides their photo or besides their name. So if you notice, my team up here, Phil, Bob, Tammy, Tanya, Sam, and Super, they have a little dot to the right of their profile picture. Bob, Tammy, Tanya, and Sam have a little green dot. So that's to let you know they're clocked on, they're working right now. Super and Phil have a little gray dot. So gray means that they are clocked off. So green is clocked on, gray is clocked off. Now there is the possibility you'll see an orange icon. And what that means is they're temporarily marked away and are not available for clients. So let's do that for Phil, for example. He's clocked on. Normally he's working right now. And if you notice, perhaps he's going away to get some coffee. He'll be back in 10 minutes. So at the bottom of the screen, I will mark him as away. And now there's an orange dot next to Phil's name just to let me know he's away right now. He can't really see a customer or take care of this visit. And as soon as he comes back, I can press the return button. And Phil's button now becomes green again. So employees can now clock on or clock off using the quick profile, accessible again in both the appointment book or walk-in manager by toggling the button that says clock on or clock off on the top right corner. So I'm going to put in Phil's tips here. So that is where you clock in and clock off now. So that's one feature that can be enabled. An employee, of course, can also be marked as unavailable by selecting the duration that they'll be away. So this is optional, again, at the bottom of the screen. Are they out for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or an unspecified amount of time? Now, to help manage your appointments, the appointment book also displays and blocks out employees' away times. So let's go back. And again, I'll mark Phil off. He's off for 30 minutes. He's away. So by the way, the self-check-in kiosk. So if you have a tablet, another computer that's marked for self-check-in kiosk, Walkin Manager and online booking will also consider the employee as being unavailable for guest services during those away times. So if a customer were to walk into my salon right now and they were to try to choose Phil for an appointment, he would say, unfortunately, he's not available right now to take care of a walk-in customer. So of course, they might want to search for an opening with Bob or Tammy or somebody else on my team. So you can also view and add employee messages here. So if I click on Phil and I want to remind Phil today, I have a message for him. It's your turn to take out the trash. So this evening, at the end of this shift, I want to make sure that Phil remembers it's his turn to take out the trash. So Phil will notice there's a little message button on the top of the screen. And if he clicks one time, that message appears right there. Your turn to take out the trash. So those same rules, those same messages apply to tomorrow. So I can go 1 day, 2 or 3 days from now, and I'll say perhaps tomorrow it's Bob's turn to take out the trash. So I'll click on Bob's name and I'll leave him the message. So I'll say, okay, Bob, on this day, it's your turn to take out the trash. But let's jump back. So at the bottom of the screen, when you select an employee, a staff member, you'll also see the View Week button, SMS Clients button, and Print options. You'll also notice there's a Performance and a Change Pin button. So these can be locked out via security. So it's not like these settings are by default. You do have security options that control some of these features. So let's say you're making an appointment and it's a non-request. Oh, sorry, let's go back. So to close the employee window, once you click on it, so if you're currently in it and you just want to get out of this screen, all you have to do is click anywhere else on the display. And Shortcuts will then close that window. Okay, so let's say you have a customer that walks in, they're a new customer, or they're even a regular customer, but they don't necessarily care which staff member you want to book them with. So on the left side of the screen, where the hours of the day are, if somebody were to walk in right now and say they want an appointment with whoever's available, doesn't matter, you can actually click on the time on the left side of the screen. And Shortcuts will find an opening for any staff member that's available right now and try to assign them a visit. So if I say 3:45, for example, Shortcuts will let me search for a customer. So let me see if somebody's available, or I'll add a new customer. So let's say Steve Ryan comes in. I get his phone number. So Steve comes in. Most of you are familiar with the tag window. And he's getting a men's cut. So I just selected the 3:45 time. The system knows to assign it to whoever's available to complete the service then. So it actually assigned it under my employee super on the right side of the screen. So this will randomly assign the appointment to an available and capable employee. So this is done fairly by rotating through the available employees. So this is really helpful if you have a lot of employees on your staff, on your appointment book, your book's completely filled, you don't see too many gaps. So you can just click on the time on the left side of the screen and let the system try to find an available opening. Okay, so that's going to save you a lot of time instead of having to scroll left and right across your book. So now let's say you need to reschedule. So some of the functionality, how has it changed here? So of course, if you click one time on an appointment, you still have a touch tip, but instead of appearing at the bottom of the screen, it appears right here in the middle of the screen. The name of the service, some of the basic contact details, has it confirmed, has the customer ready to check out? So a lot of that's here. Now, let's say we want to reschedule. So Roger wants to reschedule his men's cut. So if we right click on Roger, we still have all of the same functions from version 7.1 Fusion. But you'll notice reschedule is a little bit higher on the list. So shortcuts will just ask, when is the next appointment? So he's going to come back in 3 weeks. So October 28th. And then shortcuts is going to ask you, instead of automatically assuming he wants to keep the same time, he's going to ask, or sorry, shortcuts is going to ask, what is the time slot he would like to be in on his next visit? So in that case, if I had an opening on the 28th and he doesn't mind if it's with Sam or somebody else, he'll say 10 o'clock, please. I'll click on Bob's column at 10. And right away, shortcuts will confirm he's rescheduling his appointment for October 28th at 10 o'clock, this time with Bob. So it doesn't have to stick with the same time as previously. And I can cancel and confirm. So let's go back to today. So some of the other functions. When you press once on an appointment and the touch tip appears, there is an edit icon on the right side. So it allows you to go to the client card. There we go. So if you notice, when I select a customer, next to their name, there's a little pencil button, an edit button. And that brings up the client card. So if I choose on Trevor, I hit the little pencil button, and he mentions what his email is. So I said, okay, Trevor at yahoo.com. Thank you for letting me update your contact information. So you have an edit button now. And it's added right into the touch tip. No double clicking, it's right there with a single click. So the booking source will appear under the client's details. So you'll notice these appointments were all made right here. So Allie, I click one time on her appointment and it says this is a fusion booking. So this appointment was actually made in the system. If a customer makes an appointment online, it will actually say online booking. So that appears right on the top left, underneath the customer's name or contact number. Now, if there's a resource, a room or equipment that's required, so if you have a manicure, pedicure, a tanning bed, something like that, and it requires to be reserved for this service, it will appear against the relevant services. So you can see Conan here. He's going to get an eyebrow wax, so he's going into waxing station 1. So you still have the stripe icon to designate whether or not the customer needs to be booked into a resource. So that functionality still remains. Now, request is going to be displayed for services where the client requested an employee. So if a customer makes a request, how do we know? So I'm going to say Phil has returned, make an appointment for him. Again, we'll add a new client. So Bruce David comes in, I get a phone number. And Bruce is getting, so normally you would press these tags, new client request, but how do shortcuts specifically know whether the customer requested Phil or whether it was just assigned to Phil? When you're selecting the service, and I'll choose haircuts, for example, men's cut, if you notice, there is an actual checkbox now in the service selection screen in the center here that says request. So this is going to affect a few things. It will affect the reports that you run. It can also affect the level pricing for your staff. So if a customer requests a specific employee, you can actually have a price adjustment because this was a request, not a randomly assigned appointment. So that will show up as a request in his appointment. Now, appointment status, such as booked, arrive, etc., are going to appear on the bottom left. So on the bottom right, when you choose the touch tip, you can change the status: arrived, needs review, no show, and other options. So let's say Andy here has arrived for his appointment. Trevor has arrived as well. So all of that functionality remains. It's now a single click. So once these icons are here, you'll notice in the touch tip on the bottom left corner, that status also shows up. So it actually shows he's arrived. It marks that in his touch tip. If Conan has confirmed his appointment, that confirm message also appears in the touch tip. So right away, you know if the appointment was just booked, if it was booked online, if the customer is a no-show, whatever the status is. And you can undo those steps, or you can arrive right from that touch tip. So these are some key action buttons based on the current status of the appointment. So they're presented to you, and they most likely help you what's the next step for this appointment. So in this case, Bruce's appointment has been booked. Did he confirm, yes or no? So that button then appears. And once he's confirmed, the next logical step is he's arrived or he's a no-show. So we prefer him to be a no-show. So you can see how it sort of walks the front desk through the steps of the visit. And that's all by doing a single click and going into the touch tip. You can still right click and undo all of those steps. And of course, there is a More menu, and that's the More menu on the bottom right, which gives you additional functions, including undoing the last action. So those are most of the changes on the appointment book. A lot of the functionality, again, has been moved to a single click. So for your staff at the very top of the screen, a single click controls clocking in, clocking out, marking the staff as away, putting in a message where the staff can view their week, look at their performance, or even message, SMS, or text their clients if you give them that permission. Single clicks also show up as touch tips, information for the visit, where the appointment was made, and it allows the staff to just walk them through the process by following the status buttons at the bottom of the screen. 1, 2, 3, they're ready to check out. So let's take a look at the Walkin Manager. So what changes are in the Walkin Manager? As you can imagine, the look and feel have been changed as well. In the middle of the screen, that sort of column, that dashboard that used to appear, has now been eliminated. We've assigned most of the functionality either to the check-in or the in-service screen. So let's take a look. At the very top, the employee list and all of that related functionality is at the top of the screen now, just like it is in the appointment book. So in the previous Walkin Manager, again, version 7.1 Fusion, the names of the staff members would be at the bottom of the screen, and that's where you would be able to clock them in, clock them out. Instead, at the top of the screen, all of those same functions that you have in the appointment book are available here, including clocking in, clocking out, and marking staff members when they're away. Or if they just want to look at their performance. All of those functions are here at the top of the screen. So just like you saw in the appointment book, there's a quick profile button where the employees can view their key performance and their visibility based on that little color dot that appears next to their names. So I can see everybody on my staff is currently clocked in. They all have the little green dot. When somebody clocks off, I'll clock Bob off again. I'll put in his tips. And now I can see that Bob has a gray button next to his name. Not only that, Bob's name has been pushed to the right side of the screen because he's pretty much done for this day. Now, the new button. Whenever you have a new customer, a new client, it's been moved to the left side of the screen, and instead it's called the check-in button. So when you press it, you'll notice that all of the action buttons are colored turquoise to draw your attention to it. So when you're looking at the Walkin Manager, you need to add a new customer or put them in service, you can press the check-in button on the top left, search for a customer, or just add a new customer. So I can go to the clients list and search for somebody, or I can add a new client or just type in their name and then press done. Now, efficiency has been improved with the new one-touch buttons located on each visit. So you'll notice all of the services that are currently here, they're reading over from the appointment book. So they're dropped into the Walkin Manager. So you'll notice there's a right arrow on the waiting list to move a visit into service. So Trevor, he's currently coming in. So if he's actually in the chair, I can press the right arrow button and move him into service. Just like that. Shortcuts isn't going to confirm the name of the employee or anything like that. And if there was a mistake, there is a left arrow button. And it allows me to move that visit back to the wait list. So I can still move them back and forth. There's also a shopping cart. Once a customer is in service, you'll notice there's a shopping cart button on the right side. So if you press that, it will actually allow you to check them out. So instead of having a right click or checkout or anything like that, you can just press the little shopping cart. Now, the visibility around the service and the wait times is a little bit easier to read. So you'll notice it says estimated start time. When is the customer supposed to start? How long have they been waiting? When was their time quoted as? Things like that. So all of this appears now in that column. So the quoted start time is displayed underneath the estimated start time. So it makes it easy for you to see how long the client has been waiting. Have they been waiting longer than their original quoted wait time? Employees can also quickly check in a client who does not want their personal details on the file by clicking check-in and quick check-in button at the top of the client screen. So if I go to the client screen, there is a quick check-in button. Now this can be enabled or disabled based on security. For my salon, I turned it off because I don't want just any random customer to be checked in to get a service. I prefer to record their data. That's why I disabled quick check-in. But if I was a barber shop and I got customers in and out relatively quickly, I didn't care to capture their names or their numbers, I can enable quick check-in instead. So that is a feature that can be enabled. So you can just put in a nickname, Mike, Steve, Trevor, whoever it is. And then of course you would choose a service and finalize their visit as usual. So the Walkin Manager has a checkbox available on the left of each visit in the in-service section to allow you for a quick and easy group checkout. So let me put a few people in service. So I have Conan's the only one that's waiting for the visit still, but everybody else is in service. Now, if I was to check out a group, multiple people at a time, I now have this checkbox button, which allows me to link customers together and group them at the point of sale. So all you have to do when multiple people are checking out is just click this checkbox. And then when I go to check them out, they'll all be grouped together. Now, there's a multiple number of other features that are available in Shortcuts version 8.1, and we will be highlighting all of these new features over the next few weeks. But this is a quick review of all of the important ones from your appointment book, from your Walkin Manager, from your point of sale screen, and of course from your client search screen. So these are the most important tabs that most of our customers work with. So I'm giving you a general overview of those changes. So there's much more training to come, but I just wanted to give you a preview for right now. So let's group these and let's get them to checkout. And then there they are. Trevor and Steve have been grouped together right in the point of sale. So as you explore through the new version of Shortcuts, you're going to find that the system is way more intuitive. The daily operations are quicker, they're easier, and everything is looking refreshed with a new look and a new feel. I hope you enjoyed this overview. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on our next training sessions. Have a great day.